Welcome to SUP, the Scope Unmuzzled podcast, episode 14. This time around, we have two new guests, actually a couple. One is a Chinese girl, the other guy is a a Dutch guy. Yeah, I know. And we're actually going to be talking about how they met up, because it's kind of like a weird couple. There's a whole fucking backstory behind it. That's going to be an interesting thing. We're also going to be talking, if we have more time, about some other random topics that we have prepared. And, well, if any of this sounds interesting to you, then please stick around as we start this train wreck of a show. Welcome to the podcast. So today we have two new guests. So like I said, they are a couple. They are married, actually, and they have a very interesting story to tell about how that kind of happened. So we'll dive into that. But before we do that, we first have to introduce themselves separately. So I'm going to start out with Sushi, the one on the right. And after that, I'm going to ask Momiji, the one on the left. So Sushi doesn't seem to be very amused with the introduction question. So maybe Momiji, why don't you start? Could you tell a bit more about yourself?
Sure. Hello. I don't know. I'm talking to you or the audience, but yeah. Hello. Most people knowing me as Momiji. Maybe you want to know my age, but I'll say that age for a girl is some sort of a secret if you're really wondering about that. I'm 7. Yeah. I've just been drinking milk for 8 years. Yeah, that's just a joke, but whatever. Take your guess.
Okay.
Well, for my
7,
hobby,
yeah, okay.
I like vehicles, especially cars, 4 wheels, not bikes. Yeah, because I'm not Dutch enough as Sushi is. I'm currently a streamer, a full-time streamer, actually. If you want, you can also follow my channel. I'll give the link in the description, probably.
Oh yes, we'll put any of the socials in the description so people can follow you if they want to. Anything else you want to add to that?
I guess that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a nice short introduction. Sushi, we might have enough time to think about it. Could you introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Sushi, otherwise known as Sushibal. Don't ask me about that. That's another different story. But anyway, my name is Sushi.
We'll go over it. Don't worry about it.
I am a person that's married to this other person that's sitting next to me. But not actually sitting next to me.
Well, kind of, right? Like you're kind of sitting close to each other in real life. Luckily, there's like no echo.
About like 2 meters.
Okay, so you're like socially distancing
Yes.
on the podcast. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And, I'm actually saying meters instead of feet.
Good.
I mean, especially after her saying that she's only 7, this puts my marriage in jeopardy, actually. I am kind of in a difficult position right here. Anyway, moving on.
You just say you're 8.
You got to be at least older than a female, right? Say something above 7. It's not that hard.
I am definitely older than 7 and 8 because otherwise I would be in jeopardy at work. Being an 8-year-old and doing construction, that would be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So a 30-year-old married to a 7-year-old, that makes 40. Yeah, seems fine.
All right. Well, do you have any like interests or things you do outside of your job with construction?
I liked riding bike, like mountain biking.
Very typical, yeah, for a Dutch
That's
person.
a whole nother story for later.
Mm-hmm.
I do like games. I do like model building and all that, which I haven't done in quite a while. But yeah. Besides that, being social in general to some degree, but not too often because I'm actually an introvert to some degree. But yeah, basically, I like torturing myself in being in social situations.
You mean the social situations like this podcast, like trying to talk with people, with me, with the audience? Is that something that you're also uncomfortable with?
Well, I wouldn't be lying if I'm sweating right now, but yeah, sort of to some degree.
Well, it is kind of hot out, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be many things. But now you guys have talked about how you guys have, kind of like individual stories. Could you go over the story on how you guys have actually met?
Okay. May I start first?
Yeah, whoever wants to start first. You know, you're a couple. You guys fight it out. That's not my that's not my decision to make.
Okay, we can actually fight this out. Let's go.
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Yeah, you won.
Or
Okay.
you could have just brought out the sword, you know. Because rock, paper, scissors,
All
sword.
Too early for swords.
Okay.
Later.
Definitely. Well, yeah, I'll probably start first. I do remember the first time we met. We definitely met in the Discord server. I recognized you, but you didn't exactly recognize me. Then the first time we met in VR chat, it was at the karaoke word. I was pretty much drunk and I was shouting very the light pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's the first time we met. Pretty much. I don't know if you remember anything about that.
Yeah, is it the same thing that you remember, Sushi, or did your story go a bit differently?
And knowing me back in the day, I was probably drunk myself. So yeah, there goes that. I mainly remember you after at some point noticing you in Discord, and then just I've definitely seen you before in other places as well, but then it's like I started noticing you at some point, like, some reason I'm interested now, and now I start noticing that you are around instead of like, hey, I'm just talking to Scope and whatever other person is there, and there it goes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first time, I guess. Just the first time.
Yeah.
Well, I think so you're talking about like a Discord server, which I assume you mean the Discord server that we are in, like the VR squad.
Yeah, the cheese server.
Yes, some people it's called the cheese server.
Discord.
Yeah, it's not mine. I didn't make it. I just became like the unofficial leader.
Discord.
Yeah. Yes. Sure. No, it's run by a friend of mine, Benjo, actually, from 2 episodes ago, I think. Yeah. He's the owner of it. He made it, but yeah, because I brought in basically almost all the people that are in that server through VR chat into Discord. Yeah, then kind of become like an unofficial leader. But what I was gonna say is, I feel like you both have met up through me, as I think both of you would join off of me. I know. Well, I can ask you guys separately. How do you guys met me in VR chat? Because that is how we met.
Okay. The first time I met you. Yeah, may I start first?
Sorry?
May I start first?
Yeah, you fight it out.
Yeah, okay. Well, the first time I met you is something that's near Automat, the one with a lot of white flowers, that word.
Mm-hmm.
I met you, and that was 2020. Yeah. July 2020, if I remember correctly, or June. I don't remember that exactly, but definitely around that period of time.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about you were talking about your car, the Lexus you have. And I was interested about that topic, and then we started talking. And I still remember you make a video about me back then, because I was pretty much bargaining about like my room is too big. If I want to reach something, I need to go around, and that is kind of stupid. And you said that is definitely first world problem.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like first world problems. That was like the section of the video. And yeah, if it's around July, June, that's also when I got my car in 2020. So that could very well be I don't remember the exact conversation we had. Besides the fact that you talked about like rich people getting from, like, for example, from China to the US by like a plane or something, or they go back and they have like a lot of money from their parents.
Yeah.
Like all these kind of like rich people problems. Do you actually remember why you joined on that world? Because we were not friends before.
I was just word hopping. I found that one has a lot of people over there, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we met. exactly VR chat moment when you met some people. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's the original purpose for them to just have VR chat, like you just meet random people at random words.
Well, in this case, it's not that random for me, at least. Like I've met a lot of people in the server, also through Near Automata. For example, Missing is also one of them. I think Remini will be coming up in a later episode. I met you there. I mean, probably some other people that I don't remember. It's
Yeah,
a
that
very
reminds me
common.
about that. I
very
met
common
you at
place.
a Remonite at the same day.
Oh, yeah.
Combo deal.
I could have been talking to Remini. That could be very well the case. Yeah.
Sure. I don't know if you still remember that.
Well, probably around that time I did, yeah, because he was a new friend. We talked all the time. So, all right.
Cool.
So that's how we met. Sushi, do you know how you met me?
I was probably too drunk to remember, but I have this nagging feeling that I met you through either two other people, and I was definitely not sober at the time. But for some reason, I was pulled into a conversation that you were having, or a debate that you were having with another person, and I stuck around. And for some, I mean, obviously, it's like, hey, you're a Dutch person, you're a Dutch person too, cool. Koloniseren, and that's kind of how I stuck around.
It's a reference that no one's gonna get except for Dutch people. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you know which friend that is exactly?
I am debating whether it's Couch. No, probably not.
Because
I would say Akko, but that was probably later.
wait, did you know Akko before I did? Because so I don't actually remember. So this happens where sometimes I don't.
Oh no, there's a world first.
Yeah, exactly.
Person that doesn't remember.
Bro, I have so many
to...
fucking friends. Give me a goddamn break, man. I can't remember all of them. So I know Momiji's because it's like in a video. So I've seen them multiple times. You even could look back at it. For you, I'm not sure. But it probably is through like some of our friends or even who's that really drunk guy from
Sake.
It could have been.
That's worrisome.
Yeah, so basically drunk people meeting each other in VR chat and they find out they're in the same country and then it's like, oh, how nice. That's probably how it happened, which is a lot of Dutch friends of mine, actually.
I mean, I feel like I was definitely not sober at the time and you were having a pretty interesting conversation. That much I do remember. I don't know the subject though.
Yeah,
I don't know the people around it, but I feel like a big part of like the normal group was already around at that time. Remonite, Missing.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, it's like a special guest who's just there in the background. It's Missing. He's floating there on a table. He's having his breakfast or something. He just decided to spectate. So I guess it's the first podcast with spectators, guys. We're gonna have like a whole fucking audience at some point. We're gonna have a laugh track. No, actually, don't need a laugh track then. I need a sign that says if people need to laugh or play like a soundboard sound. It's gonna be great. No,
Pipes.
It's gonna be pipes. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's. I think that is also how we met. Like through a bunch of other friends that we've met, and get friends of friends. And you see, so it's the same country. You were drunk, as you usually were. I'm not sure if you were drunk, Momiji, at the time.
Sorry.
Yeah, that usually seems to be the case. I meet a lot of drunk people in this game. It's insane.
That's a problem.
But now we've talked about how you guys met me, how you guys met each other. Could you talk a bit further then about how you guys have actually met like each other in real life? How that came to be?
Yeah.
You start first or me?
Again, you guys have to fight it out. And I assume you guys remember because this is kind of important.
Well,
Sure,
yeah,
I guess I
that's
just,
something we don't forget.
Yeah, I'll start myself first.
Sure.
I invited him to visit me. Yeah, so basically he came to the country I was in and he met me first.
Which
I was
country?
like, can you come over here? America, US.
Freedom. Gained.
Yes.
I invited him to visit me. Well, I was having a huge mental breakdown back in that time. I'll be honest about that. And I'm pretty much just asking Sushi like, can you just come here and visit me? He was actually planning that back in the summer 2021, but he didn't make it because of COVID regulations and something like that, if I recall right. Definitely COVID regulations, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but they canceled everything at the winter 2021. So I was pretty much like, please come here and visit me. And we got married in that 3 weeks.
Wait, so you guys were talking with each other on Discord or on VR chat before then, I assume, because you don't just meet in real life and then married 3 weeks later. That's a very
Definitely not.
short turnaround for a marriage.
Actually, for our relationship, there's actually a point that things change, mostly because of my mental status. First is about some of the politic issues in the US that I don't really want to stay there for that long. The second thing is about my family, my mom. My relationship with my mom is never that good. I was pretty much thinking about I need to leave here. And yeah, that's the time I actually started to think about I should have my life, I should have a husband, I should start my life, I should leave this place, something like that.
Well, is that something that you
and
actually...
then we had a lot of...
Well, is that something you came up with yourself, or is that something that got pushed from your mom? Because I know a lot of people that have mouths in real life that their parents are pushing
comes from
on
me.
their children to get married.
No, my mom never pushed me. The situation includes a lot of personal information, something like that. But pretty much I could say about my mom want to make me go back to where she lives and makes me live in the same town she lives in and try to just make me live at what she wants me to live, kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like that first. I was thinking about what's a solution or something. I was even thinking about escape to another state or even Canada in some degree. But yeah, back in that, I was already in a relationship with Sushi. We just didn't really come over about all the marriage stuff. We had a lot of talk before, and yeah, after that, pretty much the conclusion we got is I can just marry him and we can live together without worrying about my family issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what you're describing about your mom, where she's like, no, please come live with me. And, I have that same thing with my mom, where she seems to be very controlling, or she cannot let go of her children, saying okay, you guys are now old enough. You guys should, live on your own, start your own family, or get a girlfriend, or do something with your life as a career. These kind of controlling mothers will try and keep you into their grasp, the entire time, because they feel, well, not really sure what the reason is. I feel like they feel they're responsible to raise you, and if they see that you're in a bad place or maybe not doing that well, they would like to contribute or try and help you out. But they're kind of doing the opposite, where just living with your mom is not really gonna improve your situation, or not gonna make you more self-sufficient, I would say.
I don't want to say too much bad thing about my mom, but she definitely has some sort of OCD and something like that. Back when I was in high school, when I was only 16 or something like that, there's no clock in my room. And back in that time, when I was walking around on the street, I found a shop that sells a very nice clock. It is not a cheap clock like those $10 or $20 stuff. It's $60, but it is a 14-inch 6-spoke wheel that is actually cut through the half and put a clock inside of it. It's 6 spokes, so the 12th, 3rd, something like that. They have the numbers on them. And that looks pretty cool to me back when I was 15. I tried to persuade my mom about Mom, I want this. I don't have a clock at home. I want one. And my mom literally said, you're not eating dinner tonight. And saying you are even trying to make me buying things for you that I've never prepared, something like that. Honestly, that's just her. I don't have too much to say about her, but yeah, she was always like that. everything didn't go through her schedules or plans, she will easily get triggered. Because for most of the time when I talk to her, I feel like she doesn't really understand how normal things works for normal people. Probably because she's too rich in some degree. It's like if you want to go to point A to point B, first you need to see are my shoes able to make me walk? Am I did I eat breakfast so I don't faint on the road? Something like that. Or even you just walk on the street, there's gonna be something happens, like you're probably gonna get hit by a car, you're probably gonna step into a hole and fall off, something like that. But my mom doesn't really understand that. She only understands that, hey, I order you to go to a point A to point B. I don't care what the fuck just happened during this, censor that. I just want you to go there. And if something happens, then that is your fault, not my fault. Even if you tell me that you have difficulties, that's not my business. You need to solve the difficulties. Oh, you cannot solve it, that's not my business. Oh, because you mentioned about that you have difficulties and I ignored it and you got hurt or something like that. That's still not my business because nobody will ever make me worry about them, only you, something like that. That's just her problem. That's one of the biggest reasons I don't really want to live with her, honestly. I hope my mom's not watching this.
Well, as long as you're not leaking, it's also we're not gonna. Well, I'm not censoring myself. I'm not sure if I should censor other people if they ask for it. I'd say it's not.
Doesn't understand English to begin with, to this degree, so it should be fine. I
understand a little bit, but still, yeah.
I can't wait for a visit.
No, so I recognize some of the things that you're saying, Momiji, also in my mom, although not that extreme. My mom's not that crazy.
I know.
But yeah, definitely like the controlling part of parenthood or parenting that seems to be affecting a lot of children negatively. And even if you're older, like even now, my mom would tell me, even like I'm 26, I live on my own. I've lived on my own for like 4 years now. She's like, oh, no, you should live with me, live with your brothers. We all live in one family. We do one kind of job. We do it together and blah, blah, blah. Like the whole communist fucking kind of idea.
You understand about that part, honestly, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I totally get it that you would like to get away from your mom because that's exactly what I did when I would turn 22 is I also moved away from my parents because my family situation was also getting really bad. Well, probably not as bad as yours, but you know, it's all relative. But yeah, I also decided, you know what? I'm no longer going to stay here with you guys. I would like to just live on my own and become an adult, start learning how to take care of myself. And that's exactly what I did. It only took like 1 month for me to decide like, okay, I want to leave to actually get an apartment. So, and my mom was very upset. Probably your mom was also very upset when maybe you left the States. Because for me, she was very upset that I left, and I told her, it's like, well, it's because of you why I left. And then, yeah, she didn't really like that answer, but it was the truth. Did you tell your mom, for example, why you moved back, or was it just like, oh no, I got married to this guy, so that's why I'm gonna be living now?
I tried to keep all the secrets. I tried to just tell her about like I chose another way for living, I chose another path of my life, something like that. But eventually she found out like I was actually not really satisfied with her trying to manipulate me or something like that. She was not. She's neither happy or sad. It seems like she already knows it's gonna happen. She's definitely not that happy about that, but she knows that there's nothing she could change because, well, down to the earth, I'm an individual.
Wait, so Sushi, could you tell me your thought process when you went to the US to go visit Momiji? Like, did you guys already determine beforehand that you guys would get married, or is it something you decided when you guys met up in real life? Like, how did that kind of decision making go?
Pretty much already became a topic after a few months. Like, yeah. I mean, I was just kidding at some point, and it's like, okay, we're actually going there. And the more we talked, I found myself just wondering, like, okay, like she mentioned before, like the whole COVID restrictions happened, and it's like, okay, I was already planning, like, okay, I've already met up with other people for lesser reasons to meet up. I was like, okay, I really want to meet this person. Like, okay, I really like her. I really want to go there. And it's like, okay, I already got it planned out. And it's like, okay, I'm working through all the things. And yeah, COVID happened. And it's like, shit. The most massive bumper you can ever imagine. And it's like, okay, I don't know what to do with this. And then we were just basically forced to talk through Discord. And it's like,
Yeah.
just online messaging and keeping distance. You just sort of reach this point of like, okay, whatever the cost is at some point to make, I'm down with it. And surprisingly, I found myself wondering, like, wait, we're marrying. I am surprisingly okay with this. I would find myself more shocked, to be honest, considering my thought process, like, even 1 year before that, before meeting her. And
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing. Did you
it's
actually think about the consequences of marriage at that time? Like, okay, you're gonna get married, then you're gonna live together. You know, then you have to decide to which place to go. Like, you're gonna go to the Netherlands or you're gonna go to the US. Well, probably not the US because your mom. Exactly. So
yeah,
and like you have to live together, you have to make dinner, you know, look after each other, all the financial things. Have you thought about the whole process before you made that decision, or was it just like, oh no, I really like this person, I'm gonna get married now?
I definitely decided about that. I definitely considered a lot of things. Like for me, living the place I'm living, like I've been living in the US for a long time. I need to go to another place that I don't even speak their language. I already have some sort of household. I have cars. I have a lot of furniture, a lot of tools, and I cannot even bring them together with me. Some of my friends shocked about, like, oh god, you have a house. There's 3-level house. You got 2 cars and you got a lot of tools. You just give up all of them. When I'm telling them about, like, I only brought 2 suitcases and that's all I had, and I just board the plane and go to the Netherlands. A lot of people shocked, like, are you actually planning about this? You know what you're doing? Are you really sure about that? Even my mom was asking me the same thing, but I was like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm definitely sure. I'm giving up a lot, but it doesn't really matter to me because I'm gaining new things. Somehow like that. I don't know what you think. Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I'm now the only person that sacrificed a lot. Same to you. Like, I'm joining your life. Your life is much different from before. Well, same as me. Yeah, but I don't feel regret about that. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think of what do you think of those changes that has happened because of the marriage and the aftermath and the whole thing? Because there's also been, like, we can also talk about that, the whole process of trying to get her to the Netherlands, and then there was a thing that happened, and then you had to move, and it's the whole fucking ordeal. I even had to help you guys with some of these things with the moving process.
Yes,
because I'm a bit more acquainted with the whole process myself, because I've moved from the Netherlands to Belgium myself. I didn't get any help, so I had to figure out everything myself. It's I don't know. I want to go back though, but that's gonna be very difficult right now. But that's a different topic.
I've got a question regarding that at some point, but yeah, we'll see about it.
Okay, now so about the whole consequences and, like, the sacrifice you were saying, and, like, the things that have changed in your life. Could you tell a bit more about that?
The easy version from my side, at least, is like, okay, I went to her place. We had the holiday there. We got married. Everything was fine.
Whoa.
We were planning.
Hold on. You talk about it. It's like, oh yeah, this just happened. You know, it's an average Tuesday. Went over there, got married. It's no big deal.
Basically like that.
Okay, it's a bit more special than that. You know.
I mean, nobody died, as far as I know.
Well, luckily, yeah.
That's a personal thing at least. But what to say? Yeah, things went through a rush at some point because, well,
Yeah.
I'll leave that part to you. You're better at explaining that part
Sure.
from your perspective.
Yeah, but-
Yeah.
Yeah, well, now we're asking about your perspective, Sushi. So, how did you experience this? Like, what changed, for example, in your life after this whole moment? Because it's like quite a big deal and quite a big impact on your life so far. Like, also because I've talked to you before you got married, before you even met Momiji, I think. So I can also see like a character change, like personal change to that. Could you?
No doubt about that.
Talk about that a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, before meeting her, even during that, I was still pretty much, I would consider myself an alcoholic, just drinking every day, getting on VR chat, just escaping real life. And it's like, yeah, cool. My life was pretty much about just going to work, get on VR chat, hang out. Eventually, once or twice a year, meet up with some people in real life and just drink with them and have a good time and make some actual friends in real life. I mean, to some degree, that happened.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because we also met each other in real life a couple times, actually.
Yes, multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Which I am definitely grateful for. I mean, that's something I miss doing quite a bit, actually meeting up with more people. But yeah, then you get together with a person. It's like, oh, yeah, you get together, you get responsibilities, you have to deal with stuff. And, well, yeah, that's all obvious, me at least. But it definitely changes the person to some degree, a large degree, actually. Yeah, there have been times where I've been very stressful and times where I've been very desperate. But at the same time, I keep in mind, well, I'm doing it for something. So, quite something, actually.
And is it something you actually
be worth the trouble?
Is it something you actually think was the right decision to make, or do you have some regrets, or would you like to have certain things back from back then? Well, maybe more of the meeting of people in real life, but besides that, and maybe besides all the drinking, I'm not sure if that's still a thing you're doing.
I still regret about my car. That's the thing I regret the most.
Priorities.
Yeah, my Porsche and my BMW.
Biggest regret.
Well, the Porsche is okay, but the biggest regret is the BMW. Well.
Sure, I mean, that's material things.
Yeah, well, that's saying.
Pretty much the whole rushing, having to be forced to be put in like speedrun mode and God, what is happening? And I was preparing for the long run, like, okay, we're gonna go through this process, and suddenly I am, well, I wouldn't say forced, but the decision was pretty much like, okay, whatever happens, we're gonna go through this, and I happen to give up a lot of, well,
time.
I wouldn't say personal freedom, but yeah, time.
Well, yeah, that's, when you get married, you kind of, you're living together as one unit.
Yeah,
you sacrifice, you have to sacrifice the time for each other, because otherwise, like, might as well just get like a dog or something if you don't like spending too much time on another person.
Oh.
I mean, sure, cats, but
yeah, well, you still have cats, right?
To some degree, they're at my mom's place, and well, that saves us a lot of cleaning hair here.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
That's a win.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Cats don't like me. They piss me off. I don't like those cats, honestly.
You don't like those specific cats, or you don't like cats in general?
Those specific cats. I do have cats back when I was in the U.S.
So what happened to all the stuff that you left? Because you said you took 2 suitcases, you went on a plane. What happened to all your things? Did you like tell your mom? It's like, well, the keys are underneath the potted plant or something. You can go inside. You can sell the stuff. What happened to it?
It was actually extremely rushed. It's even worse. So because my mom wanted to do her a favor, as you already know about that, that includes some personal information, and I just skipped that.
That's fine.
She gave me a plan, and she wanted me somewhat rush it. Like I need to solve it between this time period and that period. I was even thinking about like I was having pretty much the same expectation as Sushi did. Like we're gonna put it in a long run. I might not even be able to board the plane until like late 2022, something like that. But things all changed because some of the stuff happened around me. Yeah. People being stupid, people being shit, people just trying to get rid of their stuff, and they trying to make me do something for them, and that leads me to a trouble. That's what happened. So pretty much at the end, I found out I somewhat only have a month left to solve a lot of things. Otherwise, I will not be able to, or the process will be a lot more difficult in some degree. Yeah. So back when I was still in my house, I tried to sell something, but not a lot of people want them. I pretty much only sold the TV, some like a rice cooker, something like that. Yeah,
So
pretty
like
much
all
that's
the
it. I
expensive
didn't sell a lot of
electronics,
stuff.
all the easy stuff.
Yeah,
basically.
kind of like that. I managed to sell my Porsche because that was a two-seater that enabled to grab a lot of stuff together. And then I have a friend. Well, his name's Zach. He's probably not watching this, but I'm just mentioning his name. I
Could be.
give most of my stuff to him, including my Second Amendment rights stuff. My
freedom stuff. Yes.
kind of like that.
That's way to put it.
My jack, my tools for the car. Yeah, and pretty much I was telling him about like grab whatever you want. Just grab whatever you want. I'm leaving tomorrow. So just grab everything. Yeah, and he did.
Yeah. So you basically sold.
There's still a lot of
So you sold like a lot of the
Yeah.
electrical things and like your cars, like things that
Mhm.
could probably be easy to sell, relatively easy.
Yeah.
And then most of the other
Yeah.
things you just told your friend. It's like, okay, you can just take it. Did you
just grab it. Exactly.
you didn't ask any money for it, or he was trying to sell it or something?
I was thinking about like, come on, I cannot sell them. Just take it. We're buddies for years. Just come on, keep it. I don't mind. Something like that. And back in that time, I was still bringing like 4 suitcases, 2 bags, and my cat with me on my car. Then my mom asked me to go to her place. I was pretty much putting me on a road trip, and then went there. And my mom saw my stuff. Like, you cannot bring the cat to the Netherlands. I was like, why? My mom was like, don't you know about that cat are easily to get infected, that you will be rejected at the custom. I was like, no, that's not the case. I can just buy a ticket for the cat. That's how it works. But my mom was like, no, you cannot keep the cat. You cannot keep the cat. And somewhat she forced me to give the cat to a pet shop, pretty much. At least not a pet for store. Yeah. And also about my car. That's even more stupid. It's like I was planning on finding a guy that could buy my car and I can just take a plane over there. My mom was like, no, you shouldn't be taking a plane. I was like, why? She was like, there's a lot of people on the plane. You might catch COVID. It doesn't really matter if you're taking a plane that only travels from state to state. But if you're going to Europe, they will ask you for your COVID test result, something like that. And if you just take a plane, you might catch COVID. So you can't. You need to take the car. I was like, okay. I pretty much just check on the phone. I still got some buddies that live in Cali. I was pretty much like, hey, anybody able to pick the car? I don't mind how much you're giving me. At least more than a scrapyard. That's okay. And someone say, okay, I can pick it at. I can pick it at for like 3K. I was like, only 3K. And then that's the best I can do. That's what from the dealer system, something like that. Yeah, American dealer system is a scam, but it's 3K, well, nothing much I can ask. That car was at least like 10K or something, but yeah, whatever. And then back then, when I arrived Cali, I messaged that guy like, hey, am I unable to give you the car? It was pretty much say, yeah, I just send you a check and you can just drop the car over there and give me the key and get someone else to pick it and he will pretty much give you the money. I was like, okay, sure. And then I told my mom about like, yeah, I'm gonna drop the car tonight. No, you're not dropping the car tonight. I was like, why? Are you going to a dealership? Yeah. There are gonna be somebody having COVID in the dealership. I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's the most stupid thing, honestly.
Yep.
No, there's gonna be people having COVID at the dealership.
You know what? You shouldn't
Can't
go
you just
outside.
ask them
There's
to-
COVID there. Just stay indoors at all times.
Pretty much.
Wearing a mask as well.
Pretty much. Come on, it's just a dealership. I just need to drop the car over there and just put the key over there. How are you going to come back? I can just call a
Sure.
cab. And I was like, no, the cab driver might also have COVID. I was like, come on, then how am I supposed to go to... Then how am I supposed to get to the airport? I still need to take a cab to get to the airport. And Mom was like, I'm just trying to lower the chance that there's a coincidence happening during all this process. Like, pretty much like that.
Yeah, overprotective.
And
yeah.
at last, my mom called. Yeah, at last, my mom called the scrapyard, and the scrapyard came here and picked the car away. And the guy who drives the tow truck didn't even wear a mask. I know my mom's think about like that. That's even more dangerous in some degree. If you think I'm gonna be exposed in COVID, because if I'm just dropping the car there, I'm just dropping the key. I'm not even meeting any people. But it saw the scrapyard, and the scrapyard come here and tow the car away, and they give me a check that was only like $1,200 if I recall right. Yeah. That's another stupid thing. And the third stupid thing is, I did brought a lot of stuff to Cali, but at last I decided to only bring like 3 suitcases. I left one there, and for all the bags were only for like pillows and blankets that I need to lay for that small period of time, something like that. And before I board the plane, my mom stopped me. She was like, no, you can only bring 2 suitcases. I was like, what? My mom was like, hey, what if they don't accept you to bring 3 suitcases? As far as she knows, most of the flights only allows you to take 2. I was like, no, I already bought a ticket. Okay.
Wait,
I can just
why
pay
didn't
the
she
extra.
complain about COVID this time? She complained about the suitcases, but not
That's-
about COVID?
There's no COVID on there.
There's no COVID if you bring 2
Pretty much
suitcases.
like that.
Yes.
It will be in the third one. Yeah, exactly. You're packing COVID.
Yeah. And I boarded the plane and arrived in the Netherlands, and that's it. Nothing ever happened.
Well,
I
actually,
didn't get COVID.
there's one thing which is like getting into the Netherlands or
Mhm.
like that whole process of trying to get her to immigrate there. Sushi, like you have the experience with it. Could you tell a bit more about that?
I went in blind. I mean, more than just blind. I went in blind and deaf. I had to figure it out. Worst case being like, okay, I had to call immigration office at 3 a.m. in the morning, and it's like, hello,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Please help. And they basically told me, yeah, we can't do anything because she's not Dutch yet. And it's like, cool.
Then what do you do? Like, shouldn't they tell you? It's like, oh, then you go to this office or you do this thing, go through this process. Anything?
Basically, they told me to like, okay, just regardless of everything, just go through the normal process, and well, we'll
But they
see.
never tell you what is that normal process. So
So basically, it came down to lawyer's office that I had to call, which put me on hold
Mhm.
for several hours at least. But you know, at some point, I finally got to talk to a lawyer, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is a free 30-minute call." I mean, I've been on hold for several hours at that point, but fine, I'll take it.
Amazing.
And yeah, he basically told me like, okay, well, there's like 3 or so options. Like you can do this, which is questionable, or that, which is also more questionable. Like say, yeah, just let her stay illegal. She cannot get any insurance or anything.
Bruh.
She can't get any retirement or anything. And also, you're going to be arrested if you ever find out that you're here.
Wait,
maybe
that
not.
was an option he presented. It's like, you can take these legal routes, but you can also do the illegal thing. You just have to not get caught.
Bruh.
Yes.
I mean, when I was
Yes,
hearing
exactly
that,
that.
that
Oh my
sounds
God.
very stupid, honestly.
This sounds very sketchy. Is this really like a lawyer? Is
Yeah.
this not some back alley guy you met?
I don't know
Well,
what about it.
Is that the guy
Pretty
you
much
met on
just
VR
asking
chat?
him
Like,
about,
like asking your friend
No.
groups, like, is someone a lawyer that could help me out here?
No, pretty much just asking about like, hey, I'm now here, then how am I supposed to register here as immigrant, something like that. And then the lawyer pretty much just said, I can just keep it like that, keep yourself illegal. As long as you don't get exposed. I was like, what?
Oh my God.
Yeah, but you won't have any rights. You can be deported. Well, but not right away. But it's like, oh yeah, we find out you're here. We're gonna find out where you're actually from, and if you have actually any right to be here in this state. And if you're not, well, we're gonna deport you, and your husband's gonna come, gonna
Wait,
have
but-
to fund it.
But you guys are
the
married
return ticket.
in the US.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you went to the Netherlands. And also, if you get married, you're supposed to also report that to the government so they know that you're married.
Yeah,
and you also
I
have to
did.
put in, to which person are you married? So then they will also find out. So how was
Yeah, pretty much.
how is that even like a
I don't
a process?
understand. I don't understand. Probably like the lawyers somewhat misunderstood something, like, I don't know.
Did you
That's
tell them
just-
that you guys were
Yeah,
married
that's just
or not?
Yes.
I think so, but he ignored that.
He-
I don't remember that clearly, but
The point is that the marriage helps, but not specifically in Netherlands. In Netherlands, it doesn't matter if you're married. It's like, oh yeah, we're still gonna have to go through all the basic stuff. Like, yeah, we don't make a difference if you're married or if you're just partners or whatever. So he basically told us like, oh yeah, you're married. That's gonna help in when you are in another country, pretty much, just not the Netherlands. And it's like, yeah, that's one of the options. Like, just go to a foreign country for a few months and return,
mhm.
and then it's fine. He didn't tell me that the Belgian government is absolute shit at taking some requests. I mean, I also have some faults in that, but yeah.
You
Things
might-
are not that difficult. We just need someone actually knows stuff to teach us, honestly. I'm not claiming that it's your stuff or his stuff or something like that. The only thing is we didn't find a person that actually knows how shit works here.
Yeah, but that's with a lot of governmental organizations or just government in general. If you try and get stuff done, it's like, okay, I'm in this situation. Can you help me out? And it's like, yes. You should go to that guy. And then you get pointed to like a different person of a different department to tell the
Yeah,
whole story
pretty much.
again. You're leaving out some detail maybe, or you're forgetting it. And then it's like, oh, and then he sends you to the wrong guy from the wrong department. And you just get put like all over the place. And then no one really knows the entire process. So it's like, oh, it's not my responsibility to help this person because I don't know exactly this case. So I'm just going to refer to my colleague or to another department. And then, yeah, the whole fucking process just gets so vague for a person. to actually-
Convoluted.
Yeah, convoluted, exactly.
Pretty much the original thing for me for moving to the Netherlands will be like, I should apply another sort of the agreement or another thing. I need to visit the embassy and they give me something else. And then I hold this, I travel to the Europe and then things will continue over there and we have that document and then we go to the government and then they change the document in some sort of else and then something like that. But because I was rushed, because some situations happened, what I did is just pretty much grab my passport and board the plane. And I, without actually mentioning about anything, while I was in the custom, pretty much tell them, yeah, I'm married. That's why I'm coming here. I was like, okay, cool. That's it.
Yeah, because I would
That's
expect that process to be like
great.
way
Yeah.
simpler. But yeah, if you are missing certain documents, then yeah, they could
Mhm.
complain and you get sent to
They were
different
pretty
ones.
much expecting me to, like, I also searched online. They were pretty much expecting me to go back to US and restart some of the process. But going back to US, restart the process and wait for like at least 6 months over there is some sort of a no to me, honestly.
Well, do you have to
Yeah.
actually wait there for 6 months, or can you just like request
Yeah,
something
actually,
from
no,
the
I need
embassy
to
there? Or...
wait there. I need to wait there. Wait them to process and give me some sort of a document. I already forgot the name, honestly. And then they give it to me, and I board the plane. I come here, and then I give that document to the government over here, and that's the actual process. But I missed that part because I was rushed. I was planning on doing that, but I didn't. I pretty much just grab my passport and board the plane. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And when we're asking the lawyer or something like that, oh, we didn't do this. And then pretty much, I just stayed illegal. I was like, what?
Yeah, I think he basically just told you, "Is like, bro, you don't want to go through this entire process. It's so fucking convoluted. Just stay illegal. This is gonna be simpler. Gonna save all the
You have
costs."
a better chance of survival at that point, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at least it give us a solution. Like the EU immigration law is different from the Dutch immigration law. So we need
Wait,
to
is it?
register as EU citizens. Yeah, so pretty much you need to register as EU citizen first. And then we use the EU law to make me immigrants here. And then we're good, pretty much.
But Sushi was born and raised in the Netherlands, a European
So
Union country.
he needs
so
to
how is he not the
register
EU
him.
citizen?
So he need to register him in another country as a EU citizen. Technically, he could also register himself as a EU citizen in the Netherlands, but the EU laws in the Netherlands have a substitution. Like if you're a Dutch nationality while you are a EU citizen, then you need to spend your life in another EU member state for at least 3 months to make you eligible for the EU law in the Netherlands. It's just a shit show, honestly.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. It was just claimed on that. That's it.
Well, so Sushi, can you then tell, because you went to the lawyer, you got to the advice, and then you had to make a decision. So what did you decide to do?
I basically went like, okay, well, it's time to move. There wasn't even a single doubt. Like, okay, we need to get this shit show on the road and somehow find a place in Belgium that's probably going to...
Through my mom.
I mean, we weren't at that point at the very start, but yeah, I tried looking for other places myself, but it's like the whole thing with her being pretty much
Unemployed.
unemployed, not being able to show any income in the Netherlands on legal documents like bank notes or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It basically increased the difficulty from hard to
Pretty much.
hardcore.
I was like pretty much like I have
your life on
income.
the edge.
I have income, but to my American card, I have my saving, but also American card. I try to show them. They said, no, we don't take that. We only need to see if you're having a job in the something like that. I was like,
And that's showing the whole documents like, okay, who is she actually? I'm going to start living here, but I also got someone with me, but I can't show any legal documents yet. So I am kind of in this position of like, okay, I am trying to find this needle in a haystack of like homes, which is already overcrowded because everyone's already trying to look for a home as is. I mean, we're trying to win a home over some kid that's barely 16.
And we still lost.
And, you know, with even with more financial stability, with everything that I can show, a kid that just got out of college or something that has no financial stability, like, okay, you're not sure he's going to be able to afford the rent and all that. Nope, I'm still losing. And it's like, okay,
is it
I'm
not
desperate
just,
at this point. Try your luck.
Is it not just based on the time, or just the landlord will decide, basically?
Not exactly. It's pretty much just pick one through their expectations or something like that. Who do you want to live in this house? And tell them, this one, and just randomly pick. I think this one looks legit.
Well, I have been in the case actually where I was also like one of 3 people applying for like a house to rent. And they basically said, yeah, these are like you're the first 3 of like 120 people, and you got to see the house. So now you have to decide if you want to start renting it by the time that's in the document or not. And if you do, and multiple people do, then they're just gonna do a random number. Just a random person gets it. They're not going to look at, of course, they're going to look at if every person is able to rent it. But if they are, then it's just going to be whoever gets out of the lucky streak, basically.
Well, for a few, it was like, okay, yeah, we're just going to pick the person because it's like a private person. I'm not sure what the word is, but, the person that's actually renting the place is going to pick it out. And for the other ones, you just get put in a queue. Like you said, like, oh yeah, you're person 83 out of 500. That's basically it. Like, I actually called some of them myself.
Yeah,
and it's
agency,
like,
yeah.
I called the agency and it's like, hey, what about this plot and all that and this lease? And it's like, yeah, we're gonna be honest, you're gonna be really lucky if you're in like the top 200 because there's probably like about 600 people replying to it. And it's like, oh god.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the housing market right
So
now.
pretty much we skipped the agency. I asked my mom to help me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
My mom knows some of the housing agencies in Belgium, and
Wait, how does she know
someone
that?
was not.
Because that's weird. It's a weird thing to know. You have like
She
connections in like China, the US, and like in Belgium somehow.
She just knows a lot of people all over the world for some reason. I don't know.
Does
Probably
she
about
play
her own
VR chat?
business.
Oh.
I
No,
hope not.
don't
Well,
play VR chat.
That's how I know
They
a lot
do
of
a lot
my
of global business.
my global friends, I guess.
Missy,
So
no,
that's
you've
probably
been
how.
concerningly quiet. Are you her mom?
Come on.
Okay,
Hey.
just making sure.
No involving the audience.
Do I sound like an old Chinese woman to you?
Yes.
Oh god.
Shit.
Oh boy.
No comment here.
No, so anyhow, so you guys decided, or your mom basically got a house or apartment to rent in Belgium, and then you guys had to move there. So could you guys explain me what that was like to go? Well, for you, it was also already a culture shock to be in the Netherlands. But what's the difference between, for example, the US or China compared to Belgium, like the place that you are now? Like, what are the kind of cultural shocks that you've experienced?
People actually walk on the street.
Wait,
That's
Wait,
extremely rare in the US.
What? What do
People
you mean?
actually walk on the street. No one walks on the street in the US. There's even no place for pedestrians in the US. Everybody drives cars. If you're walking, you're either walking along the curb or you're easily going to get hit or something or get robbed, something like that. I mean, just American perspective about like nobody actually walks on the street. If you're walking on the street, either way, you just leave upstairs or downstairs and trying to get some grocery, or you're poor as fuck and cannot afford a car. I'm not like that. The first thing shocks me is definitely, oh god, people actually walk on the street, and there's a lot of people walk on the street, and there's a lot of people jaywalking even.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of peasants, a lot of poor
Yeah.
people here. in your
Not
mind.
exactly. No, not exactly poor people. It's just like people actually walk by their legs, and they enjoy it, and that is actually a lifestyle. Not everybody drives a car, pretty much.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a thing in a lot of these, European countries where public transit is very well organized. You can use your bike to go to a lot of places. Everything is pretty close. Well, in Western Europe at least. And there are people that will actually decide, it's like, nope, I'm not going to buy a car. I'm not even going to get a driver's license because I feel like I can just get everywhere, go around by just using my own two legs and by using public transit, like a bicycle. And that's it. And yeah, you'll probably not find people like that. Well, maybe in like New York or like the really big fucking cities. But in the majority of America, they'll probably just call you crazy if you would be talking like that.
Yeah, every time not even me, pretty much in general sense, about like if we met someone that having a financial crisis or something like that, he or she cannot afford to live by herself or something like that, the first person we ask is always like, do you have a car? If he or she doesn't have a car, then she'll be in trouble, big trouble, pretty much. Because she cannot even, or he or she, I'm just using pronouns then. he or she or they cannot actually able to get to anywhere by themselves without spending too much money. Because public transportation is shared and calling a cab is also expensive than having a car yourself. Pretty much like that.
Definitely in the US, having a car is like a necessity,
Mhm.
and here it's like an option. It's like optional. It's a luxury to have, but America it's kind of like a requirement, basically. But do you have?
I would argue that.
Well, I wouldn't say something similar, but do you have something like cultural shock as well, Sushi, when you're comparing the Netherlands in this case to Belgium?
I haven't been to prison, but holy shit, I felt imprisoned when I was there to some degree. Not specifically.
I've been to some sort of prison myself before. This is better.
It's a bad segue. Yeah. What do you mean with that? What do you mean by that, Sushi?
The whole, well, not so much. Okay, I was traveling by plane. Obviously, there's no way I was going to drive there unless I don't know. Anyway, going there by plane. It was all fine. Good flight.
Now he was asking about the difference between Netherlands and Belgium, but now the difference between the EU and the US.
Yeah, I'm talking about the difference between Netherlands and Belgium, not the US.
Well, still that same regard applies to some degree. To some degree, I feel like you cannot get anywhere with a car, but at the same time, you can't get anywhere with the car.
What do you mean by that?
He's probably already drunk.
You tried to get out.
It's 4 p.m. I don't think he's drunk. At least I hope not.
No, I'm actually trying to make a point here. You want to go out, you need the car to actually go a longer distance, like say a 20-minute drive, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But that 20-minute drive turns into a 40-minute drive because there's so much traffic. But if you go by foot, it's like a 30-minute walk. It's like, okay, am I really up for a 30-minute walk right now just to get groceries? I'm not sure. You want to go anywhere outside of town, you definitely need the car. Or you need to go by public transport, which requires you to first take a tram and then go to Central Station and then take a train. So far, we haven't done that, but it's a big hassle to actually get there to some degree.
Well, in your case, it's you live in a city, so yeah. If you get outside the city, you need to go to like a station or like a bus that goes outside, and it's going to take a while to get to a different place.
Yes.
But yeah, wouldn't that be the same in the Netherlands? I know in the Netherlands you didn't live in a city.
I feel in the Netherlands, like every time I have to use public transport, it's like either even if I have to take the bus and all that, it's not required. I can just walk to the station and take the train and just get anywhere within something reasonable, like say Amsterdam, even from the middle of the Netherlands. It takes an hour. You just sit in 2 trains, you're there. Over here, it's like, okay, you have to sit in a tram. You have to deal with a lot of public places. And you're not really confident with where you are.
Is that just a thing because
you're
new? Like because you don't feel familiar with your surroundings? That's why?
Yes, definitely. Mm-hmm. A big part of it.
So I guess it's just something that you've not gotten used to, even though you've been there for a bit.
A big part of it. Say one of the examples, I tried to order tickets online. Like, okay, I want to get like a discount on the tickets. Like, sure, why wouldn't you try to get that? Because if you order the tickets at that very moment, it's going to cost you more. I try to order them online, and usually in the Netherlands, it's like, okay, you try to order them online. It's a very straight path to ordering them.
What kind of tickets are we talking about?
Tram tickets, just to get around the city.
Okay.
But the system is so set up, it doesn't tell you anything. It feels like the Belgian websites are so, like, I wouldn't say 10 years behind the Netherlands, but definitely at least 5 or, yeah, let's just say 10 years. And they don't really specify what they're really offering. Like, you have to Google it, and I basically end up like, okay, I'm gonna get these tickets on discount. But when I got them, I had to redeem them within the hour. And it turned out to be like 10 tickets for 10 people at that very same time. So they weren't 10 tickets like, okay, you can use them whatever. No, it's 10 tickets to use immediately at that point. And it's like, what the hell did I just... Nobody had any clue
Pretty
of
much.
getting any information out of that. Like, okay, what am I purchasing right now?
Is it also something that you experience, Momiji?
Kinda. Well, for me, ordering tickets, like you need to send an SMS text to them, and you need to have balance inside of your card or something like that. But we are only going for like subscriptions. We don't really put funds in the same card, so I cannot even order a ticket myself. The easiest way for me is to just go to a store and just buy tickets over there, and they have vending machines for just tickets, and buy tickets over there will be easier, something like that. Or just swipe your card, but I don't know why my card doesn't work. Well,
because it's an American card, right? So that's not going to be
mm,
very much.
the thing is,
here.
my card will be easily accepted in the Netherlands. But we just cross the border, come to Belgium, my card is not going to be accepted anywhere. I search online, some bank will accept it, but none of them are in the Flemish region. So.
Oh, okay.
Not well colonized.
It seems like a lot of the supporting infrastructure at that point, like supporting infrastructure for, getting tickets for public transit or like paying things or, discussing things with the government, that seems to be lacking compared to the Netherlands, as far as I can tell.
A little bit.
It's like they don't want to take our money, even though we're waving our money at them. It's like, nope, no, we're not taking it.
Very much.
You need to buy not even buy, just get a very specific bank card. And if you don't have it...
Bank contact.
Nah. You're not getting it.
Very much.
Well, I'm in kind of a similar situation because although I do live in Belgium, I don't have a Belgium bank account. Well, I kind of do. It's for like the renting thing or whatever, but it's not something you have a card from and you can pay in the store. So if I would go to a Belgium store, I would just have to use my Dutch card, which luckily, of course, is accepted there normally. But when ordering stuff, for example, online, then that kind of becomes a difficult issue because the services that we try to use to pay
Ordering online is actually okay for me, but I just cannot make any purchases offline in real life.
What I have is when I pay for something, it asks for like a Belgium payment method, and sometimes even like this Dutch payment system is actually getting so popular it's going to try and be used in more European countries. So I can actually pay, or it has to be PayPal, or it has to be credit card. That's the only times I can actually pay. Although in stores I don't really have an issue because you can just pay by card. But like I said, it's like these kind of infrastructures not really meant for people that are, from abroad or whatever, which I find weird because especially since you guys are in a city, I would expect the infrastructure for like tourists to be very good. But apparently it's very confusing. It doesn't make any sense. And it's kind of hard to get around. Why do you think that is the case?
I'm going to say something stupid. I'm pretty much thinking about like a Belgian government cannot even come up with an idea about how they're going to rule the country themselves.
Wait.
Not wrong, but...
They're having a lot of double standards between different cities, different regions. I know it's probably because of the northern part and the southern part drama between all the stuff that Dutch-speaking people and French-speaking people, but I just feel like their government cannot really come up with idea about how this country should be working. And even some of the cities, they're thinking like, we need to have this in our city. Those people have something in that city that doesn't mean anything to us. Something like that. They just don't really know about how to come up with something common.
Well,
that's what I'm feeling like.
That's actually a good point because, like in the Netherlands, there is a divide between, like, for example, the north or like even the western parts of the Netherlands, the up north, people in the south. But that difference is not as big as in Belgium. Like in Belgium, it's very fucking broad. Where you have the top part, which is like Flemish. Then you have the sun part, which is the Walloons, I think it's called. It's the French-speaking part. Wallonia, yeah, that's how you pronounce it in Dutch.
Walloon.
And then you have Brussels, which is like right in between. And they have like separate parliaments for like the southern part and the northern part. And like even I think Brussels has their own separate things. And they try and run their own section of the country in a different way, like you said. And there seems to be a very clear divide between that kind of thing. Also because a lot of people in the north will hate the south and the south will hate the north, even though like the north is pulling in more money like via taxes than the southern part. So they get like more, they get annoyed by it because they have to pay taxes for the southern part and all these kind of things. Have you actually experienced this? So Sushi, I'm not really sure if you have experience with, so not the cultural divide between north and south in Belgium, but in the Netherlands. And for Momiji, do you have something where there's like a cultural divide between north and south, maybe even like in your state that you were in or in America in general?
Technically, yes. For the state I was living in America was Arizona, and I was living in the center, Phoenix area. If you go to more northern, you will meet the mountains, and weather's gonna be a little bit colder, and people are gonna be somewhat taller, something like that. I live in Phoenix, and usually if you go up there, that is Flagstaff, pretty much like that. If you go to a little bit southern, that is Tucson, and there are gonna be more, people speaking Spanish, like Mexicans or Latino Americans. Something like that. And if you go even more to the south, you can even see the road signs are starting using matrix. Yeah.
Matrix.
Pretty much.
So like the
That's one of the
infrastructure is more sophisticated, basically?
Pretty much.
Okay. Interesting. Have you experienced something yourself, Sushi, in like, for example, the Netherlands? Like from your own experience, not from hearing it from other people, because a lot of people will complain about North versus South and all these kind of things.
I mean, as a road worker going through the country, pretty much I've been from the very south to the very north of the country, pretty much. And it's like the biggest difference is like obviously the accent, but in terms of work, it's all the same. It's all It's all roads. Standard. It's all construction. It's the same things you do. Yeah. There's a very good standard across the Netherlands. The people, I would say, the people in all the known cities like Rotterdam, Amsterdam, The Hague. The more you go towards that area of North Holland, you're dealing with a lot of rude people. Also a lot more druggies, but
the West, basically.
Yes. Well, they call it North Holland, but yeah, the West.
Well, at least it's good to hear, I would say, that there is like a good standard across the board in the entire country, because I would definitely expect, I'm not sure how it goes in Belgium, but I would expect their road processes or like their infrastructure changes to be different from north and south and everything.
Let's not go into that. Holy shit, that's a shit show. Oh my god, I want to cry.
Yeah, it's always a funny thing of like the infrastructure in the Netherlands is like compared to the rest of the European Union or maybe even the world, I'm not sure. It's like very well made. It's like the roads barely have any potholes. If they do have potholes, they'll get fixed really quickly. They'll get fixed in a proper way, not just filling it up all the time, which that's exactly what they do in Belgium. It's like, oh, there's a hole in the ground. Oh, just fill up, quickly. Just try and flatten a bit, and then off you go. Off to the races we go.
If they do, I've been driving over the same pothole since the very first time I moved to Belgium. The first day I drove a car on the highway,
Pretty
I
much.
still know this pothole, and to this day it's still there. And it's like it's become a game of like evading the pothole. It's like even though I'm sleep driving almost, and it's like, yep, here comes the pothole. It's time to wake up. Yeah, I evaded that. Cool. I'm awake now.
Cool.
My boss
Sure.
actually asked me to start looking into like, hey, how much do you pay for gas in Belgium? Like, can you just bring along a trailer and just queue up on some gas over there? It's like, will you pay me in advance?
yeah.
No. Then good luck.
Well, that's also a problem, right? Because you need some kind of, I think, like a certificate or some kind of license to be driving that kind of amount of explosive fluids around. So, kind of sketchy, I'd say. To wrap up this topic before we end the podcast, anything else regarding culture shock that you guys have experienced? Maybe not specifically just for roads and cars, because that seems to be kind of the topic to go to. Is it something like, or like Sushi said, maybe like the people, they're like ruder or more assertive or even less assertive? Or
Even though Sushi is
food?
claiming about like a lot of people in the Netherlands are a little bit rude, I still feel them more polite than a lot of people I have encountered in America.
Well, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, having a lot of American friends, they can be pretty
I'm not
rude
trying to
sometimes.
take stereotype or something like that, but just for the region I was living, I do see a lot of people. They're either smug or they're extremely rude or they just want to take advantage from you. I don't know if this is because of my race and gender, but well, I'm just having a lot of fun events dealing with different people. Like just a guy walked towards me because we had some conversations earlier and he was not really happy. He just pointing his fist out like, come on, beat me here, beat me here. If you beat me, I'll just lie on the ground. I'll just find the best lawyer that can sue you. I've encountered multiple times like that. That is extremely dick move for adult male towarding a female somehow like that, you know?
God damn. Well, so because I do remember you telling me about like the way that people mistreat or like Chinese people or Asian people in America as well. There's like more of like a cultural divide as well. Do you feel more at ease in Europe where people are way more accepting of people of different cultures and such? Or does it expect
To be honest, I didn't really have a lot of conversations or social interactions with local people over here.
you? Well, you didn't get those interactions you just described, right? Like that. I've never seen that
For me,
happen
like,
here.
for me, like if I'm in the Netherlands and people see me, they don't really take me as a local. They take me as a tourist or a visitor, something like that, and they just become a little bit more politer, something like that, and more hospitable, somehow like that. They're willing to help me, and I ask them like, I'm sorry, but I don't speak Dutch that much. Can you just speak English? Speak Engels, something like that. And they will say, yeah, I speak English, and they can just speak English to me, and they won't get extremely bothered or something like that. And for right now we're living in Belgium, but there is a Muslim or Moroccan community neighborhood, pretty much they're pretty close to us, and they're not typical white people or something like that. They're also like they're also immigrants, and they are very friendly to me, honestly. They ask me, oh, you look cool, you just move around here, where you're from? Where did you came from? Something like that. They don't really say anything like, oh, you don't even speak Dutch, you don't like blah, 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 like what people do in America. So I do feel like people are more polite here.
Yeah, I think that's because of the fact that for those Moroccans, that No, because they are in the same boat, basically. Like they are also like foreigners that moved to this
yeah,
country,
in some degree.
so they can sort of relate to other foreigners or tourists or people like that, and they will try and make friends because that's something they have in common at least. Although in my experience, those kind of people may be a bit more rude towards any other person.
I would say shallow. Shallow friendliness. Not like
Shallow.
American.
Yeah, you could call it that.
But
it also very much depends on the person because I've talked to a lot of people like Moroccan friends or Turkish friends, and they're very nice, but there are also like a bunch of dickheads going around. But that's with any culture, any region really. There's always going to be some sore apples in there. Just before we wrap up, I do want to ask one thing, which is like, do you guys have any advice for people that are going through a similar situation that you guys have, where it's like, oh, you live like different parts of the world or like different countries, completely different cultures, and you're trying to meet up with this person or maybe even marry the person? Like, do you have any advice for those people, having been in that boat yourself?
You want me to make a joke out of they don't do anything that I would do? Like what Sushi always say. Honestly.
Yeah.
See, we're actually a nice couple in some degree. But if you want me to be serious about this, I should say about like sometimes the person you know is not the real persona they have. They might try to act or they're trying to get advantage from you. There's a lot of stories on VR chat about like someone is just a scammer. They pretend they're some sort of people, but they're not. They just want to get advantage from you. They just want to get your money or something like that. That is also what my mom always saying, that like, you're just gonna move to another country and to meet another person, a guy, some sort of like things like that, and was like, yeah, I'm doing this. But for me, the actual reason of me feeling very confident about going through the whole process is because, to be honest, this is VR chat. We're both some sort of alcoholics, somehow like that. I'll say if we meet in the real life, I will now be drinking, I will now be smoking. He's probably also not smoking, probably also not drinking, and we'll treat each other as a guest or something like that. But we met each other on VR chat. And the first day we met each other, we were both drunk. He was high on rum, I was high on tequila. Yeah.
You were terrifying, just saying.
Yeah, I know. At that point, we already see the worst part of each other. That is actually the best point, honestly. Like, we don't need to hide anything. Like, I definitely don't want anybody knows that if I'm drunk, I will be such a stupid shit or somehow like that, you know?
Yeah, so
well,
basically,
we already see the worst we can do. Even like, there's another point, like, shit, I play VR chat. I don't really tell people around me that I play VR chat. They will think I'm
advice from a VR chat player.
Pretty much. So, best thing for us is we already see the worst we can be. And that is actually makes me want to marry this person, honestly. That is some sort of experiment you don't really get in real life. I've seen too much people, they're trying to hook me up, they're trying to date me, and they're just shitty people, honestly. You can feel like they're hiding their own persona. They're trying to act like a cool guy or something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you even remember about that the guy from Iraq trying to date me back in 2020, something like that. The guy driving is a diesel BMW. Oh god.
Oh yeah.
I hate that guy, honestly.
I remember that story.
Yeah, I hate that guy. And he was trying to act he's rich, is something like that. He took a lot of pictures about, hey, I have this car, it has a V10 engine in it. I was like, okay, cool. And then he drive a fucking diesel to meet me. I just, you know.
Life lesson: don't drive a diesel BMW.
Or a diesel nowadays.
No, don't. Diesel shit. I don't like diesel. Yeah, come hit me.
No, I agree. It's fine. No, so basically your advice.
I know probably some people are poor diesel in your channel. I don't know. Just take assumptions.
I wouldn't call people that have a diesel poor. Usually it's people that drive like a shit ton of kilometers. So they're
Hey
trying
man,
to be
don't
cheap.
judge diesel. I drive a diesel van for work and I fucking love it.
Exactly.
Understandable.
That's the reason why you own
Very
such
much
a
that's
vehicle.
it.
Yes.
People
So
always say
for
they own
work
diesel.
or for driving long distances, totally legitimate. If you drive like a sports car or like try to brag with a car that's diesel, it's like who you fooling? It's like
I've got a
that.
turbocharged diesel.
Kind of like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. But to sum up your point, so there's two things, right? So one is, in your case, try and meet each other at each other's worst, and then see if you can still tolerate each other. And the other thing is like try and be real in that case. So yeah, no bragging. But if you are like really fucking drunk, then you're probably a bit more real than a lot of people try and have each other perceive on the
Yes.
internet.
That's why I'm drinking.
I'm not drinking. I'm trying to give up drinking.
So he's not really helping. Well, Sushi,
No, not really. You're resisting the temptation,
I
which is good.
well,
That-
yeah.
I
Some
would,
people-
mean-
I would say don't, but I don't drink, so whatever. Sushi, do you have any advice to give to the audience regarding your whole experience of this?
I already thought about this, and it's like I just need bold typing. Don't
Bold
fucking
type.
rush it and do your fucking research.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that that's like the general gist
Don't
of the
fuck
story.
it up. Don't get into any trouble. Don't
Don't do
even
anything that
if
you would do, basically.
Yeah, that's a basic saying. I mean, I would
Don't do
say
anything I would do.
don't do anything I would do, and I would do anything for a cheeseburger. Just don't do anything for a cheeseburger.
Okay, but yeah, I think in general,
I'm still trying.
uh,
Never mind.
Yeah, I
I'm still
think-
trying to make you enjoy the food I made.
how's that working out?
He doesn't want to eat sauerkraut.
Nope. I love boerenkool. You know what I'm talking about. Boerenkool nutspot.
Good. Typical Dutch. But yeah, no, I would like to, with that, I think wrap up the podcast because we went all quite a bit of time. We did have some advice there. So yeah, basically don't rush these things, unlike these two, because
Yeah,
You know,
don't
things
rush
might happen.
life. It's a bad thing to do.
yeah,
You
you'll
get
run
gray
against-
hairs.
Yeah, exactly. You run against a lot of obstacles that could be avoided if you just took your time and planned things out a bit. So I think that's good advice. So with that, I'd like to close up the podcast. So before we do that, do you guys have any final words for the audience?
Don't become a road worker. Please do your education.
Stay in
That
school,
is
kids. Stay in school.
Stay in
basically.
school. And
All right.
don't become Flemish.
Yeah, stay out of Belgium. I can agree.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Pick the major you like. Don't listen to other people. I was forced to study psychology, and I don't want anybody to start learning psychology. Psychology is shit. If you learn psychology, you're just gonna question your existence. Honestly, it's even.
And
I don't know
not
if
earn a
it's
lot of money.
gonna be worse than physiology, but still, I'm always
Well.
questioning myself.
Yeah, so stay in school. Take your time. Don't learn psychology. All right. So with that, I think we said enough. So yeah, your last one, Sushi, stay in school. I think that would be a good way to wrap it up. So I would like to thank the audience for sticking around, for watching this episode.
Or
And
making you listen.
exactly. And I hope to see you around in the next episode. Until then, peace out.
I love you.
Yeah, so it's basically that the cars here are a necessity, and oh fuck, God, I'm actually getting called. Oh, that's my
Maybe
dad.
they
It's my dad.
identify as a car.
No.
Hey, Dad.
No, I'm just gonna.
Give my regards.
That's my battery bank.
I was making a joke earlier about their dad calling.
I know, right?
Yeah. The irony.
Why is it a WhatsApp call? Oh my fucking god! God damn it!
Oh, the delay on those calls. Fuck.
Hold on. I'm
Sorry, Dad.
Very much
I'll
right,
call
Tom.
you back later.
Sorry, Dad, I'm doing something extremely important right now.
Exactly.
Are you making porn?
Well, that's the thing. My phone is on Do Not
That kind of
Disturb.
recording.
It's on Do Not Disturb, but I'm still getting calls.
And still it makes noise. Cool.
Yeah, apparently.
My
Seems to
phone,
work out.
when I'm on Do Not Disturb, like my family can still pass through it and bypass it.
Yeah, I think I have that set up as well.
Ah.
Okay, fucking silence. Silence! Okay, sorry about that.
Calls again.
Calls again?
Calls
What do you
again
mean?
Using Telegram.
Yeah. Before we sign off, Momiji?
Go best girl.
I'm not.
I still
okay.
think this person is gay. He doesn't claim it.
I hope he's not.
No, my
Yeah.
experiences so far say otherwise. Well, okay. Is that your side off? Like you're just throwing me under the bus or something? Man.
I mean, you can be gay, just
No, being gay will be too easy for me, Sushi. Bro, I've gotten people already, like last week, 2 people trying to suck my dick. I'm like, no. Like one person that even met me in real life. It's like, no, this would be too easy for me. And I'm not doing this. I am taking a higher
wow,
difficulty
you
route.
saying it's too easy. Wow.
Well, being gay
Wow.
would be too easy. I'm just saying. I'm not saying getting a girlfriend is
I
easy
don't know.
because apparently that doesn't seem to be the case. Even for me.
What if you become they or it?
No,
What if
That-
you become an object?
that might help with the gayness, but that's also part of it. And it's not for me though.
You can
What if
identify
you
yourself as
become,
Alexis.
What if you become a pipe?
You're just trying to trigger missing, playing the fucking sound
Yes.
effect.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Well,
Huh? What sound effect?
exactly.
Legend.
Probably want to
No, a lot of people, maybe, they're just kids. Don't really know the value of money because they have a rich family.
True.
Probably.
to be
Yeah.
like that.
I
Yeah.
need money. I should make.
I need money too. I need money too.
Don't we all?
Alright.
Cannot stand the resolution of Vibe now. I want a Vibe Pro. Give me money.
Oh,
I have my pro. It's not, it's
oh,
not my
sorry.
pro.
I need
have my
money
pro.
for
It's
food.
It's trash. My pro's trash.
You're here
Has
talking
nothing
about
worse
like
than
upgrading
this.
VR headset. Kira's like, I need food.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't
sure.
saw that.
Rich guys' problems. I need a new fucking headset.
I know, right?
No. We're not rich guys. The rich guys was like,
Uh-huh.
What the fuck?
the real rich guys will sound like, I need some money. I need to. I think the Ferrari is too slow. I need to buy a Lamborghini. I don't have that money. That is a real rich guy.